Hello children, welcome to Story Time with Auntie Roo. Are you ready for a new adventure? Shall we begin? Say yes to read. Today we are going on a yoga adventure. Now I know you're wondering what yoga is. Well children, yoga originated in ancient India. Yoga involves exercises to calm, strengthen, and bring together mind and body. There are many exercises in yoga, but we will learn some basic ones today. So, let us zoom off to Storyland to know more about this mysterious new word, yoga. We will first be meeting our dear friend Peppa Pig. She is in her school right now, and so are her friends. But what else is happening there? Let us join their group and find out. From the book Peppa Loves Yoga. It's been a very busy morning at the playgroup. Peppa and her friends have played instruments, dressed up in fancy clothes, and made the messiest of crafts. Now we are going to say hello to a visitor. Madame Gazelle says. Ooh, gasped the children. They wonder who the visitor is. Bring, bring. The visitor is at the door. The children can't wait. They start to cheer. The visitor is Miss Rabbit. The children jump up and down excitedly. Namaste, says Miss Rabbit, putting her hands together and bowing slowly. That is how we say hello before yoga. What's yoga? Danny Dog asks while waving his arms. Yoga is a way of relaxing, Madame Gazelle explains. It is a bit like having a rest. And if you are feeling stressed, relaxing with yoga is a great way to calm down. Peppa and her friends stop jumping. Namaste, they repeat and slowly bow towards Miss Rabbit. Madame Gazelle is right. The children feel a bit calmer. Then they follow Miss Rabbit outside. Everyone sits on a mat outside. Now touch your fingers and thumbs together and close your eyes, Miss Rabbit says. The children do that. Everyone breathes slowly through their noses to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, says Miss Rabbit. Breathe the children. Next, we will do the tree pose, says Miss Rabbit. Stand on one leg and be as still as a tree. Everyone copies Miss Rabbit. Now put your one leg forward and bend into a warrior pose, says Miss Rabbit. I think this one is like being a surfer. Everyone steps forward. They like being surfers. You will like the next one, Danny, says Miss Rabbit, putting her hands on the floor and lifting her tail into the air. It is called downward dog. Then Miss Rabbit stretches up like a snake. And this one is called cobra pose, she explains. Finally, Miss Rabbit lowers her voice and whispers, Now we must rest. Lie down on your backs while I count very slowly. 1, 2, 3. It is time for children's parents to pick them up. We have been doing some yoga, Madame Gazelle explains. It is very relaxing, says Daddy Pig. Yoga is relaxing, says Madame Gazelle. I think we should do it every day. Everyone loves yoga. Wow, that was relaxing indeed. And we did the tree pose, the warrior pose, the downward dog pose, the cobra pose, and finally the resting pose or the shavasana. If we do these exercises and meditate every day, it would definitely help us calm down. You don't believe me? Let us now meet little wolf who too didn't believe in the power of yoga. But something happened one day. What? Let us hear from him. From the book The Three Little Yogis and the Wolf Who Lost His Breath, a fairy tale to help you feel better. This story is written by Suzanne Verde and the pictures are by Jack Fleck. Once upon a time, there was a wolf who lost his huff and his puff. As you might imagine, this was a problem for the wolf. A big, bad problem. You see, sometimes the wolf felt angry, which happens to everyone from time to time. There were many reasons he felt that way. Sometimes he felt angry when he had to share, or when he was having trouble doing something difficult, when he was worried, or when he was hungry. And sometimes he wasn't sure why he was angry. What he did know was that when he was angry, the only thing that seemed to make him feel better was huffing and puffing and blowing things down. He blew down fences and houses and anything that got in his way, causing trouble wherever he went. In fact, when he saw how frightened the rest of the town looked after he blew something down, he felt even worse. But he just didn't know what else to do. One morning, when the wolf wanted to blow off some steam, he came upon a little yogi doing the sun salutations by her straw hut, stretching her arms to the sky to greet the new day. The wolf saw how peaceful the little yogi looked, but he didn't feel peaceful at all. His heart and mind were racing, and his body felt hot and uncomfortable. Oh, how he wanted to huff and puff and blow down the little yogi's hut into a big pile of straw. So the wolf opened his mouth wide and tried to blow. He tried big things and small things, on heavy things and light things, but nothing happened. Instead, all that came out was a cough and a wheeze. The little yogi heard the wolf wheezing and ran over to help him. She didn't appear to be afraid of him at all. "Wolf, take a slow, deep breath," the yogi said. "I can't," said the breathless wolf. "I have lost my huff and puff." "Let's meditate on that," the yogi said. "Maybe you need to practice some belly breathing. Close your eyes and place your paws on your belly. Now breathe in through your snout and feel your belly and paws rise. Now breathe out and feel your belly and your paws lower. Keep going, nice and slow." As the wolf felt his belly rise and fall, his breath became slower and deeper. But just when he started feeling calmer, he remembered his lost huff and puff, and he started to feel angry again. He jumped up and tried to blow down the yogi's straw hut. No luck. To the wolf's surprise, the little yogi didn't run away. Instead, she said, "I have an idea." She took Wolf by his paw. Soon they came upon the wooden house of a second little yogi. He was in the middle of his afternoon yoga flow. They watched him giggle and wiggle his tail in the air as he stretched in downward dog and then lengthened his body into a powerful plank. as straight as the wooden beam in his house. While the first little yogi explained the situation, the wolf could feel himself getting frustrated and tense again. His paws curled and his body stiffened. He opened his mouth wide and he tried to blow down the second yogi's wooden house. But again, he only wheezed and coughed. "I've lost my huff and puff," he said. "Let's meditate on that," the second yogi said. "Sit down in a butterfly pose." He showed Wolf how to bend his knees and place the soles of his paws together. Maybe you need to practice some cooling breath. Now close your eyes, open your mouth, stick out your tongue, and slowly inhale. Feel the cool air enter your mouth and your body. Now close your mouth and breathe out through your snout. Keep going, nice and slow. The wolf started to cool down his body and his mind. But just when he started to feel calmer, he remembered his lost huff and puff, and he started to feel angry again. He jumped up and tried to blow down the yogi's wooden house. No luck. Again, to the wolf's surprise, instead of running away, the second yogi said, "I know where we should go." The two little yogis took the wolf's paws in hooves and walked with him under the setting sun. Soon, they came upon a yoga studio adorned with colorful bricks. Inside, a third little yogi was in the half-moon pose. He came outside and noticed the exhausted wolf. "What's wrong?" he asked. The wolf was startled. No one had ever actually asked him that question before. "I want to blow everything down, but I've lost my huff and my puff," the wolf answered. "Why do you want to blow everything down?" the third yogi asked. Again, the wolf was surprised. That was a new question too. "Because when I'm angry, I think a huff and a puff will make me feel better." "Does it really make you feel better?" "Only for a moment. I blow everything away, but then everyone runs away from me. I don't like that others are frightened of me. But without my huff and puff, I don't know what else I can do." "Let's meditate on that," the third yogi said. "Maybe you just need to practice some supported breathing. Sit down with your back pressed up against mine. Now close your eyes and notice the air moving in your back. Can you feel it filling up my back too? Now breathe in and out through your snout. Try to match the pace of my breathing." Beneath the shimmering moonlight, the wolf and the yogis practiced breathing together, back to back, nice and slow. Soon, the wolf began to inhale and exhale more deeply. Then something new happened. The wolf felt different. He didn't feel tense or frustrated. He felt peaceful. Under the sparkle of the stars, the three little yogis showed the wolf even more ways to relax and breathe. Until at last, they all settled down for Shavasana. From then on, when the wolf felt angry or sad or scared or worried, which happens to everyone from time to time, he knew just what to do. He would sit down and meditate. "I may have lost my huff and my puff," the wolf said, "but I have found my breath." Eventually, the wolf really became mellow and a friendly fellow. Children, meditation helps improve our breathing. It can also help us feel calm and focused. But it takes a lot of practice. You can also try the methods suggested by the three little yogis. If you are still finding it difficult, then there is another way you can practice meditation. Why don't we hear the story of a little gnome to find the answer? From the book Om the Gnome and the Chanting Comb. The author of this story is Trishula Jain and the illustrator is Tahira Powell. This is the story of a gnome named Om who lived in a far-off place, not so far from here. On the morning of his birthday, Om put on his very best boots and got ready to explore the forest. To Om's surprise, Grandma Gnome was waiting at the door to give him a special birthday gift, a shiny comb inscribed with his name. With delight, Om hurried back to his bedroom to try this new treasure on his thick, curly hair. As Om pulled the comb through his hair, it got caught. "Ouch!" Om yelped. Om jumped up and down. He turned around and around. He pulled and tugged with all his might, but the comb would just not budge. The frustrated little gnome cried out, "It is stuck! These knots are just too tight. What do I do now?" The wind outside Om's window started to whirl and whoosh. They whistled a musical reply. "Sweet Om, be calm. The answer is right in front of you." Om took a deep breath and calmly pulled the comb out of his hair. He looked at it closely, trying to understand where the answer was hidden. With a burst of light, the comb leapt out of his fingers and into the air. Then the dazzling comb started to sing. "You will be free of knots if you chant your Om name. Om, Om, Om." You can beam and proclaim. From top to bottom, you will be tangle-free if you learn to chant Om with integrity. Om is made up of 3 separate sounds. Ah sits deep in your belly, rooting you down. Oh is the love in your heart that fills up your chest and clears up your brain and your head the best. String these together as one big sound and sing them round and round and round. Then what happens is quite profound. You will feel safe and centered on solid ground. Let's take a deep breath. Now be my guest. Sit tall and straight and puff up your chest. There's no need to feel any stress. You will see Om will take care of the rest. Let's try it together now. 1, 2, and 3. It's easy and fun to chant Om together. It makes you feel happy and light as a feather. Om opened his eyes and felt so free. Om untangled all my knots inside and out. Om snuggled up by the fire, feeling grateful for all that he had learned. "Thank you, sweet Grandma Gnome. Thank you, my magical comb," Om sighed. and with a knowing smile, Grandma Gnome watched as Om drifted off to sleep. And like this little gnome, you can also meditate the way Om did by chanting Om. And now, as our friend Om is drifting off to sleep, it is time for us to go back to our homes too. Children, what a day we had! We learned so many yoga poses today. We also saw the sun salutations, planks, and the half moon pose. We also learned how to meditate and how to properly say the word Om. I hope you find time in your everyday routine to do some of the yoga techniques we learned today. You can also ask your parents or grandparents to teach you some more poses and share your experience with us. And now, children, it is time for me to say goodbye to you. But, as always, I will be back again with a new adventure. Till then, goodbye and take care.